4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Can you do it one more time?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, you're good.
Good evening, everyone. To night number 2, a little bit late, but the Spirited Girls game was right before us. It's Carthage taking on Van Buren, the Pointers, as in a dog. And Pointers have a 3-point lead. We're just underway. Here's another trip down and a shot from the right corner by Kyrie Dumas. It is now 6-0 in favor of Van Buren. Jim Taylor with you here, and our tip-off was sponsored there by Community and National Bank and Trust. Landon Ray will put up a shot, but previous to that, an offensive foul was called on Carthage. It'll go on Latham. Carthage starts Henry Latham along with Zane Browning, Jordan Brunert, Landon Ray, and Jonah Barrett. Van Buren with possession. They go from right to left, away from their bench to the right wing, and have a bump to be on Brunert. They have Truett Cazell along with Jude Jennings, Gabe Johnson, Kyrie Dumas, and Brody Myers. Team foul number 2, and I'll try to keep track of personal fouls as best I can. The personal foul indicator has not worked for the 2 games I've been here, and it looks like it's not working now. So we hear the buzzer, and that may be, say number 4 near the buzzer, that means I was 1 foul off. Here is Myers down inside the middle of the lane, puts up the shot, no good, bottled it up himself, and he put it in. Van Buren comes in 9-5, and they're already up here 8-0 on Carthage with 2 minutes into the game. Latham with the ball, right of the circle now to Landon Ray. Right back to Brunert, he squares for a 3, and good. 8-3, Van Buren. Lob pass in the lane. With it is Myers, fumbles it around, kicks it back out. 3-point try there is off the mark from Kyrie Dumas, and we have a whistle and an offensive foul. That'll be on Gabe Johnson. So Carthage will go length of the court, down 5, 5:37 to go here in the first quarter. Latham being bumped by Dumas. He gets to the left corner to Brunert inside the arc. One-handed pass down inside. Now back from Browning to Brunert for a jumper. Good. And they give it a 3. Up, they go back to 2 on that. A little indecision there. It's 8-5. It's now a 1-possession game, and Brunert tried for the steal and went out of bounds. So Van Buren will inbound from half court. Tossing it in will be Kyrie Dumas, and he'll give it to Cazell. Back to Dumas. And Dumas will go to the right wing and flip it back in the lane. Down inside to Myers. Spins, turns, got it. 10-5 in favor of Van Buren. Latham back for Carthage across the timeline. Goes to the right of the lane, kicks to the right corner. Shot over there, Barrett's not going to go off the heel. And the rebound taken in by Johnson. Back comes Van Buren. They're up 5 at an 8-0 start. Here's Johnson spinning in the free throw line area. Now back up top to Myers, back inside. Trying to fight a double team and winning it is Gabe Johnson. Before the 5 starters have scored for Van Buren, it's 12-5. Latham lost the dribble but had time to get it back. Wheels it down into Brunert, but he's cut off. Now back to Barrett. Up top, Brunert fakes the 3, comes to the right of the lane. Now back to Barrett, open on the right corner for 3, and he got it. The 3's keeping Carthage in it here halfway through the first quarter. It's 12-8 Van Buren. Driving is Myers, back to the left corner, Jennings. Now back up top, Myers. He'll fire a 3 and switch. He has 7. 15-8. Latham to Barrett. Now into Brunert through the lane, over to Landon for a 3 on the left wing, and it's good. 4-point game, 15-11, Van Buren. 3.5 left to go, opening period. Gabe Johnson has a free throw line now to Myers. He comes in the mark, middle of the lane. Left-hander is an air ball, but there is a whistle. I believe they're going to get Browning. So that'll be the first on Browning. Winner will play tomorrow at 6:20 against either Harrison or Bologna. Loser will play third place tomorrow at 3:40. Myers' free throw line, I don't think he's missed yet. Got that free throw to go down. Try to get the lead to 17-11 on the second free throw. Cooper Jackson ready to check in. Free throw is good. So Jackson comes in for Browning. 6-point Van Buren advantage. 3:20 to go here in the first quarter. Barrett gives to Brunert. Has trouble getting out to Latham. Now Latham will pick up a man. Pounding him is Jennings. Latham gets it across. Goes to the left wing, Ray. Ray comes in the arc toward the baseline on the left side. Now flips it back out. I don't think it was tipped. And it goes out of bounds. Stays with Carthage. Now we just have to retrieve the thing. We're late because the girls' game in the winners bracket side, the first half, went to Earl in overtime. Town northwest of West Memphis. They defeated Bergman in overtime, a town that's just 9 miles from here. 64-62, it went overtime. Here's a shot up top. Barrett rattles in. 3-point game, 17-14, Van Buren. To the left corner, Jennings fall away. He's on the scoreboard. All the starters have scored for Van Buren. 20-14. Here comes Latham back. Back to the corner, Landon Ray for three. It's off the back, no good. And the rebound taken in by Cazell. He'll hand it off to Abe Cohn, who came in during the last break. And he'll flip it off to the right wing. That's Gabe Johnson. Out of Myers. Back to Jennings. Over to the left wing, Cazell. Comes in the arc, cut off Brunert. Fed the pass down low, but too far underneath. Now they feed it back up to Myers, and he actually missed it. Here's Latham back the other way. Ray trying to go one-on-one, lays it up, and he can't get it to fall, but he will go to the free throw line. Gabe Johnson, number 2 on him, and Landon Ray to the line. It's an 8-0 start for Van Buren. Tigers have got it to within 3, 6, and now it's 5 on the first free throw. Ray scored 21 yesterday. Barrett scored 20. It was a lopsided victory over Marshall, 59-26. Next free throw is good. Van Buren beat Bergman. Bergman had played 21 games going into last night already and had only 3 losses. They have 4 now as Van Buren beat them 72-64. Myers brings it back for the pointers, puts it up, no good on the finger roll. It goes to Ray, got the ball slapped at, but it went right back to him. Now to Latham, nearly falls down, but keeps the dribble. And flips it back to Barrett. Barrett across to Landon. Now back up top, Brunert. Brunert through the legs on the dribble. Now looking low is Latham. Now to Ray on the wing. Landon comes in, now back out to Latham, back to Brunert, right wing 3 is not going to crawl in there. Hit the front of the rim, decided not to go in. Here comes Cohn back for Van Buren. 1 minute left here in the first quarter. 20-16, Van Buren. Here's driving is Cazell. He missed it. He airballed a layup. And now here's a turnover as Latham was trying to get the pass, but they're saying it might have been batted away, but Barrett threw the ball backwards, and Latham couldn't catch up to it, so Van Buren gets a free trip, and they'll inbound from the corner. 55 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Cohn will give it off to Cazell. Back to Cohn. And Cohn goes left, now back right to the wing. Top of the key, Cazell. Off to the corner. 3-point try over there is off the back, no good from Dumas. Fight for the ball, and I think Carthage touched it last. Yeah, they give it to Van Buren. 41 seconds to go. The Cohn to inbound. 3, 4, better get rid of it, and he can't. 5-second call. So, free trip turns up empty for Van Buren. It's going to be Carthage to go length of the court with 41 seconds to go. The other half of this bracket, they won't play till 7:20. There'll be a Harrison-Branson girls game after this one. 35 seconds left to go in the quarter. Latham. He'll give it off to Jackson. Back to Browning. In turn to Brunner. Off to Jackson. Right of the logo here in Harrison. Now back to Latham. Cross court on the far side to Brunner. Now back to Latham with 13 seconds. Laying it down for one. It looks like off the foot it goes, but Latham hands it back to Brunner. 6 seconds. And there is a shot clock, and it burns Carthage there. So now Van Buren will have 4 seconds to go the length of the court. Got to remember that shot clock. So it will be Jennings to throw it in. And he'll give it off to Cone. Cone with 1 second puts up a shot weak and no chance. But Van Buren has a 4-point advantage at the break of the first quarter. 20-16. We'll go 90 seconds and come back. This is Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. Jim Taylor back here in Harrison for the Lyndall Thomas Classic, round 2, the semifinals here on the winners bracket. Carthage won yesterday 59-26 over Marshall, and Van Buren clipped Bergman 72-64. Carthage will start going left to right second quarter with Latham. And he'll hand it off to Jackson, top of the key. Also Browning, Barrett, and Ray, and a push. That will be on Kingsley Cook. It's Cook and Jennings, along with Cazell. We'll catch the other two here in just a moment. Here's Latham. Cone is out there. And Dumas. Latham, top of the key, now to the wing. Ray, along 3, is very short. And the ball goes into Cazell. I don't even call it a rebound, mainly just a reception. Back to the left corner is Dumas. He'll work to the wing, now top of the key. Now dribbles all the way around to the right side. Feeds it off to Cazell for 3, and he hits. 23-16, Van Buren. Here comes Latham. Tried to go coast, but cut off. Hook pass is picked off. Picked off by Cook. And he'll give it ahead to Cone. And then he'll lateral back over to Cazell, top of the key. Back over to Cook. Ball thrown right to Ray. See if he can outrun the defender. He'll go up. He's hit, and he hits the bucket. And they should count it. Ray gets the layup, and he'll get a free throw. It would be on Kingsley Cook, who came in to start the quarter and has 2 fouls. Minute 9 gone. Here's the free throw, good by Ray. He has 8. 23-19 Van Buren. They have led since the opening. Had an 8-0 lead. Here's a push as Abe Cone tried to move to his right. It'll be on Barrett. His first. Brody Myers checking back in. Cone will inbound. He'll give it off to Gazelle. Back to Cone. Between the rings and goes over to the right side. That is Gazelle. Back up top to Myers, just outside the lane on the left side. Now to Jennings. Jennings goes in the lane, spins around, follow a shot, is going to get the roll. Jennings with 5. 25-19 Van Buren. Here's Ray, back across to Browning. And Browning gives it back to Jackson. Jackson between the rings, gives off to Parrott. Now left corner Ray starting to drive. Ball poked at, but he perseveres and lays it in. Gives him 10. 25-21 Van Buren. 5:50 to go in the half. Gazelle on the right wing. He drives over to the left side of the free throw line. Back to Myers. He's cut off. Back to the wing they go. Now a lob pass is too far and he'll go out of bounds. They got it over to Dumas. He tried to lob it inside to Jennings. And Jennings was running the wrong way and it went over his head. Brunert back in. And it's going to be Barrett to toss it in. Latham. He'll start the journey up. He comes across the timeline. Palmed the ball, no call. Back to the left corner. That's Barrett over there. He falls down. The shot is short, but Latham grabs the rebound. Feeds it through the lane to Brunert. And Brunert back up top. Over to the right corner, Jackson. Out to the wing. That's Latham. Now to Ray. Ray will anchor up top. And look left. Fire it over to Barrett. Barrett goes to the same spot in the middle. Now feed into Landon. Puts it up. And they call a charge. Kind of reckless going in there. He tried to hold off, but could not. Contact was made. That's his first. 5 minutes to go in the first half. 25-21 Van Buren. Russell in for Van Buren. He has the ball now. Between the circles, off to the wing to Myers. And Myers off to Jennings. Round over to Russell. Here's a long three. Will not find the mark from Gazelle. Rebound Jackson. Ahead to Ray. Nice pass. And now he's triple teamed as he tried to right himself with a shot. Now back over to Barrett for 3 on the left corner. Not going to go down. Hit off the front. Thought about going in. Then went off to the right side. Here's Myers. And he'll hand it off. That's Russell. And it's back to a steal by Latham. Latham backs out of trouble, comes across the timeline, trying to go coast, pulls it up on a fadeaway, no good. And the rebound taken back by Dumas. Dumas will work it, feed it over to Russell. Russell backs out of the arc, comes in, now flips to the right corner. Gazelle thought about a shot. He fed it down inside, but Brunert interrupted the pass. It'll stay with Van Buren. Van Buren has led from the outset. They got out to an 8-0 start. Carthage knocked it down to 3. Carthage just had it down to 3 on a couple of occasions. Trailed by 4, 2016 after 1. It'll be Russell to inbound, and he'll give it off to Cook, who came right back in after a short period, and he feeds it back to Russell. 3:40 to go in the first half. And Russell to Gazelle, now to Cook. Left wing, dropped down inside, just outside the lane is Myers. He'll feed it back to Russell. A long 3 is no good. Shot clock went off, but play continues, and here's a poke from behind and a foul. Thought they were going to not call the foul. And a foul will go on the Pointers of Van Buren. Could not understand the PA on who the foul was on. So, as I said, there's no personal foul indicator in this game. There's 3 scoreboards, and apparently the master is not working. Usually sometimes your slaves will go ahead and operate, but all 3 of them are empty. Here's Latham. He comes inside the arc to the right side, now through the lane, feeds a pass to the left corner. Back to the baseline left, up top to Browning, now into Latham. Latham triple team, ball batted up. It's taken over by Pescar. Now feeding is Ray, and he bangs it off the bottom of the glass, and it goes in. And a timeout is called. Carthage calls their first timeout. It's down to a 2-point game, 25-23. We'll take a 1-minute pause and come back. Tiger Basketball, Music Radio 93.5. Buren with the basketball. As soon as we come back, we have a whistle. Foul on Pescar. 3 fouls each side. Russell trades a pass. Kyle Organ in the game for the first time. He has the ball top of the key. Now back to Russell on the left wing. Russell looks to go down side. Now down to Johnson. Now they kick it back to the corner. 3-point try is not there. Chance for Carthage to get the lead, or at least tie it up. Here is Latham. Latham hands it off to Pescar. Now to the right side. Brunert for 3 in the lead. There you go. Carthage with their first lead, 26-25. Coming back is Cannon Russell. He's on the right wing. Now feeds it to Johnson. Johnson too far underneath. He'll throw it up anyway, and it's short. Ray with the rebound. Ray and Latham. Brunert on with Browning and Pescar for Carthage. 1:38 left to go in the half. They finally taken the lead after being down from the start, 8-0. Brunert another 3, no good. Pescar had it for a moment, but Russell muscles it away, and then a foul as Brunert tried to reach in there and steal the ball. That'll be the second one on Brunert. And Brunert will come out, and Barrett is back in. Van Buren will work it across with Kyrie Dumas. Right wing, now back up top to Gazelle. Gazelle fakes a 3, hooks a pass. It's picked off by Landon Ray. Off to Barrett. Barrett coming down, and he's cut off on the left corner. Now back to Ray. Cross to Pescar. Now back to the right corner, Browning. Browning jukes, gives it back to Ray. Ray goes around the defender and causes the defender to reach in. Kyrie Dumas, that's his second. Now I know where the missing foul is. Back in the game for the Pointers, number 24, Abe Cohn back in for Van Buren. 1:03 to go. Foul was on the floor, so Carthage will inbound. 4 fouls each team. Here's the dish to Barrett. He's just inside the arc left. Now dribbles back out. Left corner Pescar. Tries to move, nearly falls down. Now back to Latham. And Latham hands it back to Ray. Now back to Pescar. He drives middle of the lane. Right-hander is not going to go too hard. Rebound Russell, and back comes Van Buren with 42 seconds. They're not letting up. They are going down, put up the shot, no good. Van Buren's been cold in the second quarter. Now a chance for the last shot. 30 seconds to go, and Latham will leisurely bring it up. Off to Pescar. Now across to the near side, Barrett works to the far. Comes to the left side, hands to Pescar with 17. Now to Latham. Latham will Dribble it once. Now flip it back to Barrett. Under 10 to go. Pescar back to Barrett. He'll fire a three on the right wing. You got it. 29-25, and that's going to end the half. A great note for Carthage as they come back and now lead by 4 at the break. 29-25 Carthage. Back here in 3 minutes. This is Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. Back here in Harrison of the half, Jim Taylor with you here. 29-25. Carthage got down 8-0. But they held Van Buren to 5 points in the second quarter and have a 4-point advantage, which is obviously their largest lead. And they lead 29-25, and 3 guys have combined for those 29 points. Brunert has 8, Ray has 12, and Barrett with 9. All of Barrett's buckets have been 3-pointers. Ray has a 3-pointer, and Brunert has 2 of them. On the Van Buren side, it's Gazelle with 6, Jennings 5, Johnson 2, Dumas 3, and Brody Myers, who was hot early, he leads with 9. But they held the pointers to 5 in that second quarter, 16 and 13 by the quarters for Carthage. We'll take another 3-minute break and come back. This is Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. halftime, 29-25, Carthage. They win. They'll play tomorrow evening at 6:20. If Van Buren rallies, Carthage will play for third place tomorrow night at 3:40. And good friend Scott McCauley will be calling the game either way tomorrow night. Thank him for doing things yesterday. And I owe him too many favors, but he'll be doing another one for us tomorrow. Earlier round action yesterday, it was Harrison 74, Mena 47. Mena lost to Earl earlier today, 78-57. Bologna beat Earl last night, 62-38. So Harrison and Bologna will face off on the other side of this bracket. And then it was Van Buren 72-64 over Bergman. And Bergman and Marshall played earlier today, but I can't find the score on that one. And Carthage did beat Marshall by a score of 59-26. We're about ready to go with the second half. We'll have one more break and come back here in 3 minutes with the second half. Carthage 29 and Van Buren 25. Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. Just a little bit over a minute into the third quarter. Haven't missed anything. Score 29-25. Driving and missing is Van Buren. Here is Myers going up on a follow. He's fouled. And Ray gets his second personal foul. Browning along with Latham, Ray, Brunert, and Barrett for Carthage. Same five that started for Van Buren, Cazell, Jennings, Johnson, Dumas, and Myers. Missed the free throw. He was hot early, but boy, he's had an ice pack on him ever since, starting around late in the first quarter. Next free throw, that one goes. So he has 10. A long time between 9 and 10. Carthage going from right to left toward their bench. And here's Latham. Back to Ray. Dishes to Brunert. Now back on the wing, Latham. Latham looking right, goes back to Barrett. Back out Latham, over to Brunert. Thought about the three. He missed one on the first trip of this quarter. Now Barrett, back to Brunert. Brunert comes in the arc, feeds it back to Barrett. Off to the wing, Latham tries to drive inside. Back up top, Barrett for three, too long. And the rebound taken in by Johnson. Johnson will bring it back, and he'll feed it over to Dumas. Back to Johnson, looks at it, the rim that is, and does not. Now they pass it over to the right corner. Dumas has it on the baseline, drives from the right side, kicks it off to the wing. Three-point try out there is too strong. Loose in the lane to Brunert. Missed by Jennings. Brunert had it bounce right to him. Back to Ray, in front of the Carthage bench on the left side. Now to Brunert. Around to Latham. And Latham back over to Browning. Browning right at the free throw line. And back up top to Brunert. Brunert will back it away. The left ear of the Goblin at center court. Now to Brunert. Off to Ray, around to the wing, Barrett. Give Latham for three. It's off too far, and what happened here? I'm going to call Browning on a foul. I didn't see him anywhere near a body, but he picks it up. That's his second. I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, fouls on my part are unofficial because the indicator is not working on all the scoreboards. The team foul is functioning, but there's no personal fouls posted. Here's the miss from the right corner. Van Buren keeps it. Now to Dumas. Dumas puts up from 6. It's good. That's his fifth point. 29-28. Carthage at the score. Latham will bring it up. He'll give it off on to Ray. A long three, about 20 plus. Going to go off the front. No good. And the rebound taken off by Johnson. Throws to Jennings. Nearly lost it. He has it on the wing. Up to Dumas. Now to the right side. Gazelle. Inside Johnson. He spins, turns, and he hits it. That looked like it could have been partially blocked, but Van Buren retakes the lead. 30-29. We're halfway through the third quarter. Well, Van Buren only scored 5 in the second quarter. Right now, Carthage halfway through a shutout. Brunner tries to amend that, cannot, and they're going to get Latham, I think, over the back. Nope, it's going to be on Van Buren. Third on Kyrie Dumas. Abe Cohn will check in. But Dumas will stay in the game. Jennings comes out. Tigers get it inbounded to Ray on the right corner. Cut off there by Myers. Tries to back his way in to Latham. Latham looking for a screen. Now the man falls down. And he gets an easy layup. First strike for Latham. And the lead goes back to Carthage. 31-30. Here's Myers in the lane. Right, left, middle. Puts it up and got the roll. Now we got to start keeping track of all the lead changes. That's 4 now. 3 in this quarter. Here's a layup try. Latham is not going to go. 32-31 Van Buren. Cone gives to Jennings, or that's Johnson. Johnson has it just outside the paint. Now back to the left wing. Dumas back into Johnson. And a delayed whistle, but a charge is called. That'll be on Gabe Johnson. Everybody but the officials, they must have been in a different time zone because they didn't see it in time. The dreaded 7-second delay. Watching on a monitor, I guess. So Tigers down 1. Get the ball back under 3, nearly stolen. But it'll be Carthage inbounding at half court. Escar back in for the Tigers. Have Latham and Barrett, Browning, and Ray. Latham trapped, trying to get across the timeline, does so. Now back over to Barrett, now to Browning, left side to Pescar. Pescar trying to drive in, now back to the wing, Barrett, back Pescar left corner, out high. Now back over to Barrett. He works top of the key around to Ray. Ray comes in, puts up a shot, partially blocked, almost got it back though, but it goes the other way to Johnson. Johnson tries to feed, and a nice save try by Pescar. It was tipped by Browning. Pescar had it, threw it back into play, and then Latham lost it. With it is Cazell. He puts up a jumper and hits at the free throw line. That looked like a great defensive play, but Tigers couldn't keep a handle on it. Van Buren got it back, and they lead 34-31 at the 2-minute mark of the third. Here's Latham, and a timeout for Carthage. 1:59 remaining, and third quarter, Van Buren 34, Carthage 31. Back in 1 minute, Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. Ray looks to inbound, gives to Browning. And Browning back to Latham. Under 2 to go in the third quarter. Carthage down 34-31. Here's Ray. Directs traffic, gives to Browning. Browning off to Pescar. Now right back to Latham between the circles. Back up top, Browning. To Latham inside. Ray open and hits. And he has 14. 34-33 Van Buren. Here's Myers driving, trying to dish. He's picked off by Browning, and they're going to call Browning on the foul. That is his third. To the line will be Myers. Myers has 12. On the way for 13, he got it. Biggest lead for either team was 8-0 at the start. That was Van Buren. Carthage's biggest lead was the halftime score, 29-25. And 1 of 2 at the line. Rebound, Ray. Cooper Jackson in for the Tigers and off to Latham. Latham brings it across. 1:10 remaining here in the third. And Latham gives it off to Brunert on the wing. He'll fire a three, and it's just short. Crawled off the front of the rim. Rebound to Cazell. Back comes Van Buren. And he'll give off to Cone. Feed down to Cazell for a three. Short. Latham on the rebound. He'll hook it down the other way to Pescar. He's open. Can he lay it in? He did. That's his first bucket, and we're tied. This is our first tie, believe it or not. 35-35, 38 seconds remaining. Cone merely shuffled the feet. To Cazell, we have a whistle. Ball batted out of bounds. Cone with it. Works the left wing and gives it off to Jennings. Jennings now back up top to Cazell. Now feed pass, trying to save it, and not being able to is Jackson. He had the ball batted. He tried to run it back down, but he was across the line when he made contact trying to save it in. 20 seconds to go, so force Van Buren to set up another play. Here's Cazell. to Jennings, right wing. Backs up, tries the three, and it's no good. Offensive board taken. Johnson kicks it back out. And Johnson has it. He works it out to the top of the key. Now back to the right corner for a chance for a three, and it's good. Jennings at the buzzer. So Van Buren gets their fourth lead of the game at the end of three. 38-35, Van Buren back here in 1 minute with the fourth. This is Tiger Basketball, Music Radio 93.5. Jim Taylor here at Harrison, night number 2, the semifinal round. And now Van Buren, who trailed at the half, leads by 3, 38-35. They got out to an 8-0 start, but Carthage caught them late second quarter, holding Van Buren to only 5 points. They led 29-25 at the half, but Tigers themselves only scored 6 in the third quarter. Carthage will get it. Pescar lays it in, and a foul. Now he starts off the fourth quarter with a bang, along with Latham, Ray, Jackson, and Brunner. Chance to tie it up. Pescar with 4, hopefully 5 to tie it. It's on the way, and he can't get it. Ball bounds around into the corner, and it's taken back by Van Buren. They have Cassell and Johnson. And also out there with the ball now is Cone. Jennings and Johnson out there. Here's a shot up, no good. Myers is the other one. I mentioned Johnson twice. Here's the second try miss, and a foul called on Carthage. Right up beyond Pescar. So Abe Cone. Little old Hollywood celebrity named Abe Cohen. And here is the free throw good. This is Abe Cone. He gets his first point on that free throw. 39-37. And the next free throw is good. Back in the game for the Warriors, number 43. So 40-37. Not a high-scoring game, but it's been close. The biggest lead's been 8. Pescar will inbound to Brunner. And he'll come across. Off to Ray. Now to Jackson just outside the free throw line on the left side. Now to Pescar back to Latham out high. Couple of steps in, bounce pass to Brunner, spins, turns, tries for the three. It scoops in and out. Rebound off to Myers. Minute gone, final quarter. Here's Cone. He'll hook it over to Jennings. Jennings backs into the lane, ball slapped at. It's loose. Jennings got it back. Should call a travel on that. He was rolling around, but they call a jump ball. And it will stay with Van Buren. Routing back in. Jackson will check out. 3-point Van Buren lead. Off to the right corner, Johnson. He slips, but he got it back. Now off to the left wing, Russell. Back to Cassell. Driving baseline right, feeds it through to the left corner, Russell. Batted it around a few times, but saved it from going out of bounds. And a shot clock violation. So a break for Carthage. They are down 3, 6.5 remaining in the game. The Pescar giving it off to Latham. Latham coming across, tries to go coast, flips it back up top. Ray for 3, and no good. Died off the back of the glass. And it's going to be back the other direction. Cone to Johnson. Johnson feeding through. Almost a frozen possession, but he managed to wriggle it away from Browning. Now it's back to Johnson to the right corner. Cone on a 3. Got it. And now a 6-point game, 43-37 Van Buren. Here's Latham. Now back to Landon. Over to Pescar. Floating layup left side is good. He has 6. 43-39. Cone gives to Jennings. Now back to Myers. And Myers looks. Gives it to Gazelle. Back over to Russell. Russell goes low. Comes back up to Myers for a 3, and he got it. Don't let him get hot again. He has 16. Lead to 7, 46-39. And what do we have here? Could go either direction. It's going to go on Van Buren. It'll be on Russell. 23 smacks 23. Of course, you don't step in front of a linebacker. Man, Bruner just sent him scooting across the floor. But the foul goes on Russell. So here's Pescar getting the inbound. Carthage needs some buckets here. Only 5 minutes to go, down 7. Feed over to Latham. Bounce pass to Ray. And Ray back over to Brunert. Back to Latham. And a whistle away from the ball. That's going to be on Van Buren, I believe. It's going to be on Myers. First on him. 3 fouls in the quarter. Carthage with only 1 foul. So if they need to stop the clock, they can do it that way. Pescar gets the inbound. He drives, puts it up the right hand, and it won't find the mark. Rolled off the right side. Jennings with the ball for Van Buren, and they'll bring it up. It's Cone. Back to Myers. To Jennings, and he wasn't looking for the pass. Now you got to take advantage of that at the other end. Jennings broke in, and Cone threw it to an empty spot. Brunner to inbound. Barrett back in for Carthage. Here's Latham. Rushes it across. Gives it back to Brunner down high. Brunner trying to direct some traffic, sending a pass over. That's to Barrett. Now back inside. One bounce. Browning got it. Middle of the lane, his first 2. 46-41 Van Buren. 4:15 remaining. Cone feeds it over to Myers. Myers at the top of the key. Now over to Johnson. To Gazelle. Gazelle had an opening, but it'll fall away for the shot, and he hit it. Nice play there. He tried to penetrate. He said, I'll just back away and fire it, and got it from 10. 48-41 at the 4-minute mark. Here's Latham. Bounce pass to Brunner. Inside to Ray. He's fouled. That's on Myers again. That's his second. That's 4 fouls, so 1 more will put Carthage to the line. Inbound they go. Right back to Latham. Now to Barrett for a 3, top of the key. It won't go. And Cazell on the rebound. Looking for the largest lead of the game are the pointers from Van Buren on this trip. Here's Myers. They came into the third quarter trailing by 4. Here's Russell, back to Myers. Myers driving, he's got it open, and he can't finish the layup. Tigers come back with Latham. He'll bring it up. Ray, Barrett, Browning, and Brunner. And Latham goes middle of the lane, and he gets it in a timeout for Carthage. They'll have 2 remaining, 3:08 to go in the game, 48 for Van Buren, 43 for Carthage. Back in 1 minute. Tiger Basketball, Music Radio 93.5. Carthage, 2 full timeouts remaining. Van Buren has not used one. So they have their full load at 5. Van Buren will go length of the court, up by 5, 48-43. It's Cone. Ball picked off by Ray. He'll lay it up and bang it home. And the game's down to a 3-pointer, 48-45. And now Van Buren wants a timeout. Easy pickings for Ray, and he ended up jamming it in. And usually I say just lay it in because you never know when you try to dunk it like that, it's going to bang off the back. But it went in. We'll take another 1-minute break and come back. We'll come in and come back. This is Tiger Basketball, Music Radio 93.5. Brody Myers came down, laid it in. It's 50-45. Van Buren with 2:27 to go. Past the lane, the middle of the lane. He's got an opening ball slapped out of bounds. He had it for a moment, but ball knocked out of bounds by Kyrie Dumas. We Latham to inbound. Have Jackson, Ray, Barrett, and Brunert. Out high to Brunert on the inbounds. He will go to the right wing, try to get inside the arc. Does. Flips it to the left corner. Barrett, he'll try a 3 over there. Got it! He's been kind of quiet. 20 yesterday. That's point number 12. But it's now a one-trip game, 50-48. And an errant pass. That's run down. And another timeout called. Nearly turned that one over, but they got a hold of it again. And Van Buren, who's now down to 3 timeouts, they're going to use them up here when they can. So we'll take another 1-minute break and come back. 50-48 Van Buren, 1:58 to go. Tiger Basketball, Music Radio 93.5. Out of the break, Truett Cazell got a three-pointer, so it's now 53-48. Barrett missed one on his end. And the ball goes back to Van Buren. They're leading now by 5, 53-48 with 1:27 remaining. Nobody in real foul trouble. I said, no, we only had one committed, so if you want to stop the clock, you can. With the ball is Dumas. Guarded by Latham. And Brunert on the chase. Almost got it back. Now here's a layup try. Myers, no good. Ball batting around. Johnson got it for a moment. Now it's saved by Carthage, but unfortunately goes right to Myers. And Myers now has 20 points. And the lead's at 7. The biggest lead's been 8. That was at the start of the game, 8-0 Van Buren. They've got it back to 7 on a couple of occasions. Here's Barrett. Tigers running out of time now, 45 seconds. Here is Ray back to Brunert. Off to Barrett. He'll try a three on the wing. That's way off. And ball goes air ball style to Kyrie Dumas. They bring it in the front court. Now, unbelievably wide open layup by Gabe Johnson. And that's the largest lead of the night right there, 57-48. With 26 seconds remaining, a foul. It'll be on Myers, his third, so it looks like Carthage will go to the third place game tomorrow, and that'll be a 3:40 start. They'll face either Harrison or Valonia. That game will not start till 7:20. There's Harrison and Branson girls in the semifinals through the next game. Free throw is good by Ray. 17 points. And the next free throw is on the way, and it's no good. And a rebound foul. They're going to call that pointing the wrong way. It's going to be on Carthage. Pescar, I believe, is called on it, and a timeout is called. Carthage calls a full timeout. We'll take a 1-minute break. They're down 57-49. Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. 25 seconds to go, 57-49 Van Buren. That single-digit third quarter is going to do Carthage in as Van Buren breaks the press, a foul at 19 seconds. That'll be on Pescar. Third. So 19 seconds remaining. Carthage can foul one more time. Up to 3, and a 5-second call. So it's going to be Carthage basketball length of the court. And they'll inbound to Latham. Got to hurry it up, though. Here's a pass to Brunert. He's going to go for 3 on the corner and hit it. Down to 10 seconds to go. Carthage could have one more timeout to call, but they do not. Foul. 7 seconds. Latham is second. With Brunert with 11. The difference be this third quarter, Van Buren outscoring Carthage 13-6. Down to 5 seconds. They get the ball into the front court, but a foul in the back court with 3.5 seconds remaining. It'll be on Latham, number 3. And it will be free throws. To the line for the point. Kyrie Dumas has 5. It's a 5-point game right now. And the free throw is still a 5-point game. There'd still be 2 trips, but there's just not enough time. Second free throw on the way, and it's good. 3.5 seconds. They fire it down. Latham lays it up. It won't go, and that's going to be it. Had that went in, they would have called the timeout, but it rolled off the front with about a second and a half to go. So Carthage led at half, but ends up surrendering this to Van Buren by a score of 58-52. We'll take a 3-minute and 30-second timeout and come back. Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. Back here in Harrison as Van Buren Pointers, as in hunting dogs, defeat the Carthage Tigers 58-52. to 52. It was 20-16 Van Buren after one. Carthage held Van Buren to only 5 second quarter and had 13 of their own, so Carthage led 29-25 at the half, but Carthage unfortunately had a bad quarter themselves. The third, they only scored 6, and 13 were scored by Van Buren. They really didn't shoot the lights out either, but they ended up leading by 3, and then Carthage got a little bit closer late in the game, but largest lead was 57-48. That was the largest lead of the game, so nobody was in double digits in leads tonight. And actually, it was only a 3-point difference, 20-17 in the fourth quarter, but tack that on to 3-point lead after 3, and Van Buren wins 58-52. For Carthage, Kate Pescar had 6. Henry Latham the same. St. Browning with 2. Jordan Brunert 11. Landon Ray, 17, and the 14 for Barrett. That's wrong. That's 12 points. I can't. Too many things in the margin there. So 12. He had 9 in the first half, only 1 bucket. That was in the fourth quarter. The Carthage now goes to 3-5, and they'll go to the consolation round, and we'll tell you about that when we come back. We got one more long break, and then we'll wrap it up back here in 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Tiger Basketball Music Radio 93.5. Back here for the final time tonight. The Tigers will play at 3:20 tomorrow. And like that 3:40 tomorrow. Against the loser of the Harrison-Bologna game. That game will not get underway till 7:20, so won't know the score till late tonight. The Tigers will play tomorrow, 3:40 in the third place game, and their record goes to 3-5 on the season, 10-5 for Van Buren. Well, again, Scott McCauley will be covering for me tomorrow, and did a great job yesterday, and will continue, I hope, on Wednesday. Thanks to Neely back at the studios, and we'll have basketball again tomorrow around 3:40. This one was late getting underway because of an overtime game, so 3:40 is an approximate time. That'll be tomorrow here for the final day of the Lendl Thomas Classic here in Harrison. The final score again, Van Buren 58 and Carthage 52. And Tiger basketball tomorrow at 3:40 right here on Music Radio 93.5. Good night from Harrison.